Welcome to Shine Your Light, a Woman Lead podcast. We are four amazing women working and growing together to help other women grow and learn how to shine their own light. For this episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about Women Lead and why we got started. To get the ball rolling, let's turn it over to Andrea.
Hello. Gosh, I'm excited to do this and a little nervous. But Women Lead is my dream come true, bringing women together to support each other, to learn how to collaborate instead of compete. And it started from my own personal journey when I went to a party with women that I had known for 25 years, along with some of our daughters. And as we went around the room introducing each other, I realized that each of us was introducing ourselves by our roles to others. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I work at such and such place. And I realized that I had known these women for so long and been doing life with them. And we had gone through some really serious things, but I didn't know their favorite color or their favorite food or what keeps them up at night, because women, I believe now, are conditioned to just skim the surface and compare ourselves to one another and even compete against one another and not really get into the things that bond us and bring us closer. And so I'm going to ask all of you to introduce yourself in a couple of minutes by three things about you that don't have anything to do with your other roles. But part of that, and I think it's important for our audience to know this, because we're going to talk about the things that are really important to us, that things that most of us don't want to talk about because we're afraid that we're the only one that feels that way. And when we start talking about it, we realize everyone feels that way. And when this happened to me, I was part of a group on Facebook that had 6,000 women in it. The group originated in the UK, and nobody knew each other. And so it was so easy for everyone in that group to support each other. I never saw a negative comment. Everyone felt comfortable because the other people didn't know them and they were on social media and they could leave at any time. And then that's how I met all of you in a group on Facebook that we didn't know each other. We've only met one time in person. And I feel like I can tell all of you my deepest, darkest secrets, and you're always going to have my back. And that's what I want for women. And that's the whole purpose behind Women Lead. So, having said all of that, I'm Andrea. My favorite color is pink. My favorite food is cheese. And something fun about me and different is that I love to drink beer from a wine glass. So, I want each of you to introduce yourself in that same way. We'll start with you, Esther.
My name is Esther. I love the color blue. I love being in nature, especially spending time on Lake Superior, and I love books.
Awesome. How about you, Rhonda?
My name is Rhonda. I am probably the most outgoing introvert that you will ever meet. I hate small talk. I love deep conversations. I like fishing in Alaska. And I am a ridiculously over the top morning person.
Ridiculously. I will agree with that.
Sarah.
How about you, Sarah?
I am Sarah. My favorite color is red. I love spending time at the beach. And most people, when they think the beach, think tropical, sandy beaches, palm trees, that sort of thing, which I do love. But being a Pacific Northwest girl, I also really love the coast of the Pacific Ocean. That's the beach that I'm at the most often. And unlike Rhonda, I am a night owl, so I love to watch movies. And I might be on to four things, but I'm on the quest for the best recipe for chocolate chip cookies. So I've found one that is my go-to and my favorite. Little shout out to Smitten Kitchen, but I'm always open to new and wonderful chocolate chip cookie recipes.
Nice.
Love that. I'll have to give you James' favorite. He makes chocolate chip cookies, so I'll have to give you his recipe.
Excellent. Excellent. So,
Yeah.
so now I thought we could talk a bit about why we started this podcast. Andrea, when we first discussed it, you mentioned some great things. So why don't you kick us off, and then we can all jump in as we talk about that.
Yeah. So WomenLead is an empowerment organization. It's about helping women, even what I would call the ordinary woman, know what she brings to the table. And this podcast is about shining your light. We don't give ourselves permission to do that. We keep ourselves small and close ourselves in because we're not sure if we're doing it the right way, or if it's what everyone else is doing. And so part of my personal growth, and I think yours too, for all of you, has been opening that up and finding the things that are right about us instead of always looking for the things that are wrong. And that's where we came up with the name of Shine Your Light. And it's all about, for me, it's all about just being who you are, bringing every piece, the good, the bad, the ugly, to I don't know. Oh, I'm struggling with my words. Somebody else jump in here.
Every ordinary woman is extraordinary, I think is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Absolutely. And one of the things we talked about is just how women are craving deeper connection and deeper conversation, and that this seemed like a wonderful platform to share some of our deep conversations and bring others into that fold. And just, I think when we see our strengths, that's part of what helps us to lead, which is why you founded WomenLead. And I remember talking about that, and when you first mentioned it to me, thinking, well, I'm not a leader. I don't aspire to political office or anything like that. And then we talked about all the different ways that we lead, whether it's being the boss at work, or whether it's leading a team, whether it's parenting or leading as you guide your aging parents, leading in a community group. There are so many ways that we step up and help others that we don't think of in the kind of traditional sense of leadership. And
Yes.
we want to
Is
empower
this the
other
same
women.
woman leader that is now a school board member? Is that the one?
That is the one. Yes.
Yeah. So
Funny how that happens.
Yes.
right. So that's a good point. Once you started to, you said, Sarah, when I first pointed that out to you, you didn't see yourself as a leader. And after you started to see your strengths, that gave you the confidence to apply to also have the title of leader. And you got that position, right?
Yes, I did.
How do you think, so just so the people listening know, this group of 4 of us have been meeting weekly, just like this, on a Zoom call for what, 3 years now? Pretty close to
At
3.
least.
Something like that.
At
Yeah.
least.
And we have shared really deep emotions and frustrations, and we've supported each other in lifting ourselves up and shining our light.
Mhm.
And because of that, we see ourselves as leaders, I think. We see ourselves making a difference in our world, whatever that looks like to each of us. And it doesn't have to follow a rule book. And Sarah, tell us a little bit more about how that led you to where you are now. And then Esther, the same thing, with your new quest for leadership.
Sure.
Yeah, and just before I do that, I think it is really important what you just said about that it doesn't have to follow any specific rules, just that we can lead in so many different ways. So an opportunity presented itself to me with a vacancy on our school board. So since it's an interim between election, mid cycle, it was an application, interview, and appointment to complete the term, and then I will have to do the typical running for the school board next November, in November of 2025. But it's something that had kind of crossed my mind, but I think that whole thought of running for school board was intimidating to me. Who knows if I would ever have taken that on. So kudos to you, Esther. But I have such a passion for schools, for our education system, more importantly for children and for families. And so this seemed like a natural fit and something that I was really excited to do. It was scary and certainly took courage to step up, but it's been a very rewarding experience so far.
I love it. How about you, Esther? Tell us about your experience with that.
Well, I have to say that I wouldn't have gotten to this place if it wasn't for Women Lead and our weekly conversations and all the things that we have done as a group over the last several years. I know, Andrea, you and I have been meeting, I think, even longer. And then, it just, and I think you've been meeting with each of us one-on-one a little bit even longer, but through this journey, I learned that it's okay to allow my light to shine and my gifts to be used for good, and that I have value to this earth, and that my gifts can be used to help support communities. And I think I don't know that I ever would have thought that me, little old Esther, could run for school board or could be in that type of a leadership. I mean, my name is going to be on the ballot next to everybody else's on November 5th. And the idea of that in the beginning was quite intimidating and a little terrifying, if I do say so. But I know that I can do it because of what I've learned through Women Lead and what each of you have taught me, and through our conversations, that it is okay to use my gifts for this type of position. And so I'm really excited about it, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know that I would be where I am if it wasn't for Women Lead and the three of you in my life and our meeting. And I'm really excited just to kind of share a little bit more about what we are about and why we wanted to do this. Is I really believe that the conversations that we have are real, and I believe that they have helped me so much that I know that they can help other women. So I'm really excited about the direction we're taking with Women Lead and starting this podcast. And I know it's going to help many women in the future. So yeah,
100%.
Rhonda, anything you want to add to a role you're taking on?
I am taking on the role of turning 60 in March, which I am so fucking excited about. I am so excited to turn 60. And I think as we get older, we realize that time goes so fast. And if we don't take the opportunity to do the things that we've dreamt about, it's going to pass us by, but it's never too late. And those are the conversations that we have that I think are so valuable, especially to women who are a little bit behind us in age range. like Sarah going through the empty nest thing all currently. Esther's got kids at school. Andrea and I are in the grandma phase, which, just so you guys know, is the absolute best phase of life.
It is
It
the best.
only gets better, ladies. It's super, super exciting.
Yes.
But I am starting a fitness studio and it opens next week, and I'm going to be 60 years old in March. So it's never too late to do what you want to do.
Yeah. So we've all been reading the book Girl on Fire. If you haven't read it, highly recommend either the Audible or the actual book, because I think you get things differently from each. But Rhonda and I laughed about part of the book where she talks about it's never too late. There you go. She talks about it's never too late. And then there's a comment about she started and she was almost 40 or 35 or some crazy amount. Rhonda and I are both in our late 50s. So we're living proof that it is never too late. And I hadn't thought about it until you just said that, that we're all in different stages of our life. Esther has kids that are 7, 8.
8. Yeah, my twins are 8. Yeah.
And Sarah just entering the empty nest, and Rhonda and I as grandparents. And we're so much alike at every stage of our life. And that's the thing that was so important for me. When I first started this personal journey, I've always been interested in personal development of myself, but it didn't get really strong until I was an empty nester. And my daughter went away to college, and I saw that she had these goals, and I saw that she would reach one and she wouldn't celebrate when she reached the goal because she was constantly looking for the next one. She was an athlete, and it was, will I make the team? And then she made the team, and it was, will I make the travel team? And it was always something more. And I could never get her to just be proud of herself for reaching that goal. And then I realized that I was in a phase of my life where I was trying to figure it out too. And the advice that I was giving her was advice that I should have given myself, not only at her age in my teens and early 20s, but in my 30s and in my 40s. And that's the Women Lead message, is not just for a certain demographic. It's for all women, to give yourself permission to shine your light anytime. And that when I shine my light brighter, when I shine my light on someone else, it makes both of our lights brighter.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I feel like maybe you guys will agree or disagree, but I feel like before I knew that, I felt like shining my light was somehow dimming someone else's. Or
yeah.
And it doesn't.
Yeah. So
yeah,
here's another thing.
Or that seeing someone else shine their light somehow meant that we have to shine our light in order to keep up. Right. And I think that in both of those ways, it's like when we shine our light, that helps illuminate others. And when we help shine a light on others, that makes it brighter for all of us.
And just because we're shining our light or someone is shining their light doesn't mean you can't shine your light too. The whole point of this is so we all recognize our gifts and that we all have a light to shine. And my light being, my light shining isn't taking away from Andrea's light. It's not taking away from Sarah's light. It actually just helps us all illuminate even brighter when we're all shining our own light.
Do you remember that very first conversation we had? Not the very first, but one of the very first, where you all came to the call with really shitty things happening in your life. Yes. And I had an amazing week. And you all went first. And I was thinking, oh, I had a really good week. Should I tell them? Because I felt like I should think of something bad that happened to me so that I could fit in with you. And I didn't do that. I said, gosh, I've had a really good week. And I was a little bit scared to do that. And then ultimately you all said that me sharing my good stuff helped lift you up. And that was a really eye-opening moment for me, that it is okay sometimes we're inspired by somebody else's good instead of drawn back, I guess.
I remember
and
that
those,
conversation
I
vividly.
do too. Yep.
Yeah.
those are lessons that we don't learn unless we have that deep conversation.
Agree.
Agreed?
Yeah. And your good
Absolutely.
stuff just brought us all three up
Yeah.
when you shared it. It was like, yes. And then we got to cheer you on and
Yeah.
we all felt better.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for the deep conversations that we'll be able to have and share in the weeks ahead.
Yeah.
So here's what you can do as an audience if you're listening to us is tell us what kind of things you want to hear us talk about, because we've learned how to lead the conversation now because we've been doing it for so long. And we want to know, what are the things that you wish that someone would talk about that they don't, so that we can start giving you permission to shine your light.
Actually, they don't need any
I
permission.
No, they absolutely don't, but they think they do.
Yeah.
Don't they?
I know
Don't
exactly
you
what
feel
you
like
mean. Yeah.
women
Yeah.
think
So
they need permission?
yeah. Permission
Go
granted.
ahead, Sarah.
Permission granted.
Yes.
So, and in that light, each week at the end of, or each episode at the end of our podcast, we're going to have a segment called Shine Your Light, where we have the opportunity both to shine a light on something that we're proud of and or to shine a light on another woman who we see doing amazing things, amazing little things, amazing big things. So let's kick that off. Andrea, do you want to shine your light?
Why do I always have to go first? Yes, I do want to shine my light because I am really proud of WomenLead. So this has been in the works since probably 2018 in some way. And I've tried a membership and I've tried all of these different things. And this summer I finally just decided to just hands off, let it happen. And I'm really excited that I planned my first big WomenLead event. We got this podcast rolling. We're supporting each other and lifting each other. And I'm finally realizing the dream that I've been secretly telling myself, you can't really do this. I'm finally telling myself, oh, yes, you can. Just trust yourself. So that's my shine for this week. And Esther, tell us yours.
It's gotta be because my fourth book just came out and I've already started writing my fifth book. So something that haven't shared yet, but I'm an author, if you guys don't know who I am. And I am really excited about this latest work. It was a little rough getting it out this time with a lot of crazy life things happening. But I'm really excited. It's finally out in the world, so yay. Yeah, and running for school board, so that's super exciting. So that's two things. Oops, but I'm just really excited about the direction things are going for me. So yeah. Sarah.
Yay.
Hang on, Sarah, real quick. I just want to say something about Esther because she talked about how I meet with each of you individually. When I first met Esther, she casually mentioned in our first conversation that she was an author and that she had written a book. And I asked her why she hadn't published the book. And
I don't even think I said author. I think I said writer.
yeah, and she didn't know why she hadn't published the book. And that was in January. And by October, she had published her book. Like that's what believing in yourself can do for you. And now she's on book number 5.
Yeah.
So, and doing this while raising kids and having a college kid and being a part-time single parent due to her husband's work schedule. I mean, no matter what you want to do, you can do it. So sorry for that. Go ahead, Rhonda. Shine your light.
So my personal mission statement is I live a life of ever expanding circles of radical compassion. And this week I am going to really focus that on people who have suffered strokes and helping them get their health and fitness back on track. And that is going to be my focus for the week. Sarah.
I love that, Rhonda. Um, so my shine your light this time, it's a smaller thing, but something that I just am really proud of because it's something I try to embody in everything that I do, and that is authentic, meaningful connection. And I've had several opportunities this week to just have really deep, meaningful conversations with people in my life. And I know that taking that time makes a difference. It makes a difference for me. It fills my heart and my soul. And I know that taking that time makes a difference for the people that I'm connecting with.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
love that.
Love it.
And you're
So,
really good at that. That is one of your gifts, is authentically connecting with people.
thank you. Thank you. So I hope that that shows how there are so many ways that we can shine our light, and we look forward to shining our light on others in the episodes ahead. Thank you all for joining us for our initial episode, and we look forward to chatting with you and hearing your thoughts and ideas. We'll have ways to connect with us in the show notes, and go forth and shine your light, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.